Brooks Institute creates pathways and resources to advance animal law. The national animal law competitions create an opportunity for law students to compete, develop their skill sets, and have a glimpse of what their futures could be like in animal law. They also are able to interact with current leaders of animal law. We're honored to be hosting the animal law competitions and are excited to see the impact for the future of animal law.
It's really great to be here on the 20th anniversary of the National Animal Law Competitions. It's great that the Brooks Institute was interested in reviving it because I think it does really play a really key, vital role for the movement and for animal law more generally. I can think of maybe 5 or 6 really great people in the movement who got their jobs from competing here. There's some just really standout people who really shined here as students and it got the attention of the folks that they were being judged by.
This weekend, we have a truly impressive group of students here at Harvard Law competing in several competitions related to animal law. Myself, my co-judges, we've all been blown away by how prepared these students are today.
I heard some judges say they did a better job than I've seen some other lobbyists walking around Capitol Hill going into meetings do in just in a practice session. So I think that's also been a theme. I had one competitor who said, I actually really like this. I didn't think I would enjoy lobbying. Maybe I should consider that as a job coming out of law school. And so just to get a sense of what do you like? This is a safe place to figure that out.
These competitions are a great way to develop the next generation of lawyers, especially because not all law schools teach animal law. So this is an opportunity for exposure for a lot of students. In addition, because it exposes so many students, it helps to normalize the idea that animal law is a legitimate discipline and pursuit.
So initially, I was not necessarily interested in animal law. I was interested in commercial litigation. But a part of that is getting really good at writing briefs as well as improving my oral advocacy skills. So initially, that's why I decided to join this competition. But through the research in this competition and having to learn more about animal law, I will say that I am now interested in animal law.
I do think it's super helpful as someone who just generally wants to have, a sharp spear in terms of advocacy to use to get dropped into a area of law you're not familiar with, because you can't rely on your knowledge of the legal field to propel you. You just solely have to see how good of an advocate you are and how you're able to kind of immerse yourself in the topic and work it. So it was actually kind of helpful to come from it without so much experience in animal law. But I certainly have learned a lot about the diverse ways you can advocate for animals and animal rights from what I've heard here today.
I'm definitely interested in animal law, and this certainly hasn't changed that. If anything, it's made me more confident, because the thing that I've really been toying around with lately is, once I graduate, which direction do I want to go? Do I want to go more policy-based? Do I want to go more litigation-based? And I've been hearing from professors and mentors, folks like that I should at least consider litigation, and that has been terrifying to me. So getting the chance to go out and actually do something a little bit like this has been, I would say, very, very useful as I stare down the barrel of going into litigation.
I'm very happy to be here. Thought always from the start that it was a great opportunity. Definitely came to law school wanting to work on animal law issues, and this was a great way to exercise practical skills and evaluate those skills and get feedback on those skills. And it was great because there was also the writing portion of writing the brief, and then also the oral advocacy component, and then also meeting all the judges, people that I have read about and follow on social media. And getting to meet them is definitely beneficial.
So me and my partner, we wrote our brief for the appellees, Bagby and Pigtown Pastures. And it's funny because writing that side of the argument initially, we're like, this side is right, this is the right side. And then preparing for oral arguments, you see the merits of the other side of the case and how on both sides, there's such strong arguments supporting their legal claims. So it was a fun thing to do. It's just like an experiment of going back and forth with, well, there's this point on this side and there's this point on that side. So it was a good experience. And I especially liked arguing off brief because of the challenge that posed. So I am not a fan of public speaking, really. And this kind of pushed me outside of my comfort zone. I feel like I'm more comfortable writing my arguments and really practicing being able to just off the cuff have a normal conversation with the judge, argue that way is really important. And I ultimately do want to litigate. So that is something, just the more practice that I get talking in general and talking to judges is really important.
I always feel like it's a happy medium between like mock trial and moot court. You can still have that persuasive, compelling advocacy you know about in mock trial while also still needing to be rooted in the facts and the law like you have to have it in moot court. So that's pretty exciting. I don't know if there is any other mock trial program that does a bench trial. And I think that's something that not many people have a lot of experience in. So being able to see, even in a mock setting, what it's gonna be like to have, giving a closing argument that's supposed to be compelling and interesting while still getting, peppered with questions about your position really gives you a glimpse into what a bench trial would look like, which I don't really know anyone else does.
It's been so cool. I think we owe so much to the Brooks Institute. This has been absolutely amazing. Everybody in the animal world is here, which is so cool. I'm a 3L, so I've seen everybody on webinars and in internships and people you look up to. So it's been very, very cool to get those people's feedback on what you've done.
Well, this next generation is clearly really smart. I think the future is bright if this is a sample of the folks working in legislation and law for animals moving forward. So I'm feeling really optimistic.
Just the experience and the opportunity to learn something outside of the classroom, I think, is a huge benefit that a lot of people don't get to experience or don't think to experience during law school. Obviously, being in the classroom is valuable, and reading and learning the law is something that you need to know, but being able to get outside of the classroom and experience something that models real life work is just as valuable and a great educational opportunity.
I would unequivocally encourage students to do it. It's not even a doubt for me. It's one of the fondest memories that I've had. And, it's one thing to sit in a classroom and be lectured at and read cases. It's a completely different thing to get to practice those skills. And yeah, there's additional work, and law students, have plenty of work to do. And so you might sit there and weigh, gosh, I've got so much to do. Do I really want to do this? My experience, there was never a doubt that all that effort was worthwhile. It has benefited me incredibly during my career. It gets a lot of the jitters out.
I would encourage a student to participate in NELC for several reasons. Number one, you will have an opportunity to really develop your skills, your oral skills, your writing skills, your advocacy skills. Number two, you'll get to do that in front of real judges. It's the closest thing you're going to have to an actual courtroom experience, other than being in an actual courtroom, and that's exciting. Number three, what I have seen in numerous examples is that the people who are here as judges oftentimes are in positions to hire students or to make connections to people who are hiring students to do animal law. I've seen a lot of students who have been able to actually start their career because they were so impressive to the judge that they ended up getting a job as a result of that.
It's an invaluable experience, and it is helping those students become the best animal lawyers that they can. Or even if they're not going to become an animal lawyer, they're getting exposed to these issues. And no matter what they go on to do, they're going to be in a position at some point or another where they have the power to make decisions that will impact animals, and they'll be better informed to do that. There are just so many young lawyers interested in this field, so many law students interested in this field, and I think that really excites me. Animals need lawyers, and we need a lot of lawyers, and so seeing this interest really warms my heart. I think it's really encouraging for the future.